Welcome to the High Productivity Interviews. Today I'm joined by Stacy Lauren, all the way from San Diego. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
It's great to have you. And Stacy is the founder of the Do the Thing, and we're going to hear a little bit more about that. And just to let you know that I'm Lucy and I'm a high flow coach and mentor. So we are looking at really what tools you use to be as productive as you are, Stacey, because I know you're very productive. We met in 2023 over in LA. I've seen you progress and to build things, and things are all coming together and challenges and all sorts of things. But first of all, sort of a rewind and tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started and what you did.
Yeah, so my background is I always like to say I'm a salesperson at heart. That's where my first love was. I sold books door to door in college and just started off just really scrappy and understood the concept of hearing no and being okay with rejection and all the things that come with it. And you're not going to die, if someone says no to you, which I think has helped me in a lot of areas of my life. And then fast forward, I think 10 years later, that's when I opened a business with my ex-husband. At the time, I think he was my boyfriend at the time. But anyway, we opened a business together and then we owned that for 20 years. It was a staffing company. It was really successful. We had offices all throughout Southern California. We helped place people in just a lot of different jobs. Our biggest vertical was construction staffing, and then hiring employees, hiring people, and then also helping companies remove their bottlenecks by being able to get them the right staff. And then we ended up getting divorced and we tried to keep it together with the business. And it was a few years later, I decided to sell my half to him. And then with that came where I'm at now, where I spent a year trying to figure out what I wanted to do, after that exit, and then decided to write a book. And that's where my podcast started. And then my community sort of evolved from there. And I'll let you ask, but that's kind of
Wow.
where I am now.
Yeah, that's been quite a journey. Oh my goodness. And so much learning through that time of building your business by yourselves and then growing that business and scaling the business and all of those different areas. So if you look back at that, did you learn ways to be more productive within that business? What were your strategies there?
Yeah, the hardest part about that was we were growing so rapidly and things changed so much, especially in California with laws and processes and systems that we had to constantly be keeping up with. So it was just an ever evolving process. But in terms of my own productivity, the things that I can control, yeah, at the time, for me, my brain's a water hose. So I like to throw my brain, I call it like throwing it up. But at the time, it was during the business, I still didn't have the strategy I use now, which we'll talk about. It was just throwing it up on paper and I would get everything out of my head and then be able to organize it that way. So that was really the strategy that worked best for me. I think so many people try to put themselves in a box when it comes to productivity, and that's really restricting because then you're taking more time trying to make it look efficient and a certain way that you're not getting all of those ideas out of your head. So my first strategy with whatever I'm doing is just to get everything out first. And then from there, then I can do it in a way that like makes the most sense. Right now, I have amazing strategies and I'll go through some of them here, but like literally, this is still my favorite strategy. I throw my brain up, and then I'm okay, what do I really need to do today? And what is the most important? And I have, like that. And I have a whiteboard also where it's my week focus, on there. And so I'm still, I mean, I'm 50, so I'm still a really big paper person as a whole, too.
Yeah, I was literally going to ask that question. When you say getting it out, it is literally writing it down because I mean, the way that I look at it, this isn't a filing cabinet. It shouldn't be used as a filing cabinet. This is for creating, right? And so get
Yeah.
everything like you're saying, getting out, like your image of the water hose is coming out of your head and putting that spray of water down on paper. And then you've got space for creating, right?
Yeah. And so now we'll just fast forward because now I started my podcast a year and a half ago. And there's something about that activation of voice that has been so just powerful. My chills come when I think about just what that has done for me and learning how to speak things out loud.
Mm.
So now when I get dump my brain out, I'm actually just taking my phone and putting it on a voice recorder and literally saying, okay, what do I need to know about this? And then I'm able to help myself go even deeper into my thoughts by asking myself the question, like, okay, how am I going to make this work? And then I'll literally talk to myself and then I listen back to the recording. And there's other tools now you can use like Otter and things like that that will transcribe. I personally like listening to it back because it
Mm.
helps me tap back into what I really want to do.
Yeah.
And I talk about this a lot where it's like so many people, when you're doing something new or you're doing something big, everyone wants to give you advice. Everyone wants to like get a part of your train, right? And you're hearing all the noise from everybody because everyone's excited, to see what's coming and all this stuff. And that's been the way for me to break through all the noise and really follow my own path is
Mm.
because I'm listening to myself, what I want to do.
Yeah, that's a really good idea as well, because if you're listening to all of the noise and all of the other stuff, it gets too muddled, too confusing. And you're like, oh, but I was going to do this. Do I think that's a good idea now? No, 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 no. Just do what you know is right for you. And if you want advice, go ask for it. Right.
Totally. Yeah. And I'm a
Okay.
big proponent of getting people's feedback and I love doing that, but I like to almost take it all and then tap into what I'm wanting for myself. So
Yeah.
that way I'm not just like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm just following that. I like to really go back to myself.
Yeah. And you brought something up there as well that I feel is really important, which is feedback. So not
Mhm.
going too far if you've got a project going on, not going too far into that project without getting at least feedback from one or two people that you appreciate and would understand what you're doing. Do you do that? Do you find you do that at all?
So this is a great question, Lucy. So what I do now, because I have a community of people that I am so excited to be able to be leading, right? And so for me, I like to really follow what lights me up, right? And then my feedback is really by me doing it. And then I get to see how it lands with them. And are they actually able to follow what I'm saying? And so my feedback ends up being in a way of momentum, but it's because I have a group that's driving behind me that I'm able to help. And that's why I am able to move so fast because I have so many people that know, like, and trust me, And so when I'm coming up with something new, I just say, hey, I'm doing this new thing. Who wants to do it with me? I don't have to do any fancy funnel or website or program or anything. I just do a quick little jot form with their name and their email. So then I can at least notify them
Yes.
when I'm doing it. It's super messy. And then we get on a Zoom together. I tell them what it is. Some of them want to invest in whatever it is. Some of them are just happy to get the information for free and be able to take that. And that's pretty much how my stuff really works well. It's from the momentum of the people. So my feedback is not really me saying someone maybe that I admire, like, okay, what do you think about this? Do you like this image or that image? It's for me actually doing it and then putting it in the group. And if people are like, oh yeah, I want that, then I know I'm on the right track.
Right. So it's very active feedback because you're already
Mhm.
putting it out there and doing the thing, which is obviously your thing, is doing the thing, right?
Yeah, but
Fantastic.
this comes from me not like I didn't remember half the stuff I've done. I don't even know how many years ago it was. It's on YouTube somewhere. I had a side business. It was Positively Kids. I was creating these music CDs for kids CDs back in the day, right? And it was positive music. And I got so stuck in like the feedback from other people and I lost my own way. I lost my own judgment, on what I was even doing. It ended up becoming something that wasn't even mine anymore because I didn't trust myself. And so that's why I'm so passionate now about really following my own path because I don't think I I always did that. Even with my company, I would fall into that trap of just always listening to other people thinking they knew better. Whereas now I really am following my own kind of path and then other people are getting impacted on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you now have tapped into your self-trust, and that's a big thing. That's a huge thing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Amazing way to, I love that. Yeah. That's an amazing way to word it. Yeah. Self trust. I love that.
And so then you've gone on and you've just spoken about it, sort of around it. You've built a community now. This is your new thing. So share a little bit more about that with us, Stacey, because it's wonderful what
Thank
you
you.
do.
Yeah. So it started with my podcast. I was wanting to write this book. At the time, none of my memories were coming up. So I couldn't really think about all my struggles of me doing the thing at the time. So I decided I really wanted to interview people how to overcome, struggles and that achieve success. And my idea was if they had some kind of formula that got them to success, that I could actually dissect the secret formula for
Fantastic.
what
Love
led
it.
people. After the 80th episode of my podcast, I dissected the formula, and it's an acronym. It's called I'm Game, and each letter stands for something. And then once I dissected the formula, I actually wanted to test it. And that's when I created my first challenge. It was sort of a whim, honestly. I had COVID. I'm watching this TV show called Working Moms. I saw this fun thing on there that showed them doing dares with dating where they were kissing guys and showing their butts and all this stuff. And I'm like,
You
I
didn't, did
just,
you? No,
I
tell me
didn't
you
do
didn't do
that.
that.
No, I didn't do that. But it gave me the idea of my first challenge, which was a dare challenge for dating. But mine was more like complimenting a stranger, or going to a bar by yourself. And anyway, I posted about it in one of the groups I was in and said, hey, are you guys interested in doing this with me? I'd really like to do this. At the time, I didn't even plan on this being a business. I was just doing it for fun and to test this formula to see if it worked. I integrated the formula into the challenge, and it just was like people had huge, crazy results where it just went so well. And then I added some things to the second one, and then I decided I wanted to do other challenges. So that's when I did start helping people start a book, started podcasts, going live. I even did a 2-hour cocktail party challenge off of a book. I like bringing authors' books to life through challenges. I've done that a few times now. So each time, the common thing is the formula. I embed the formula into each challenge, and it helps me test the formula in a different way so I could see like which pieces really help people move. And that's what I like to do. I help people. I like to really help people finally get out of their head, get out of perfection, get out of self-doubt, stop just making excuses or having reasons for why things can't be done, and be able to just really tap into themselves. And I like to meet them right where they are,
Mm.
because I think a lot of people, they think you're going to like the person's here, the person's like at one level, and they think they can go all the way to this other layer. And I just meet them right where they are. And then because they're taking that tiny action, then they move. And that's what helps them actually get the results that they're getting. Plus, they're around people that are doing it too, which is then that leads them into the momentum of it. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just doing challenges, and then I embed the formula into the challenge.
Fantastic. And the more people take action, the more self-belief they get. And if they're doing that in a group, they're getting the group energy of belief. And so that's building upon itself as well for everybody. It's that I love the group energy because you understand what somebody else is doing, you see they're succeeding, and you're like, okay, well, I can take a little step like that and I can succeed. And it's celebrating those small wins as well, isn't it, Stacey?
Yeah. And it's going back to productivity, right? Because if you guys are feeling stuck or paralyzed, or you don't know what step to take, I think a lot of people think you should take all the steps. But my advice is just to start with whatever you can do, just do. And it does not have to be pretty, it could just be in whatever way that you're able to show up for yourself and for this thing, and start with that. And then, like you said, you're going to build that confidence, you're going to build that self-trust, so then you'll be able to take the next step, and then all of a sudden things start to unfold, because as you get to move, it just starts to show what actions you're going to be taking next.
Yeah. And it shows the possibilities of what can happen just by taking one step at a time, one single step in the direction that you want to go. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
testing that road as well. It's like, I'm going to take 5 steps over here, and then I don't feel like it's the right way. Okay, let me step over this way instead. Right. So
Yep.
fabulous. Okay. So one other thing, because I know that you love to get things done and you love to be productive. How do you spend your time recovering? What do you do personally, Stacey, to relax, to chill out,
Yeah.
to recover?
It's such a good question. I love that you asked that. I don't think a lot of people think of that, because I think this is where I go sideways a lot, because I don't have that plan. And I always tell myself I want the plan. And I just did this huge thing. I auditioned for a TEDx talk, and it was so big because, you're at the thing, you're planning the whole, and then afterwards I crashed. And so realized like I really needed to take a few days to recover. And I just did it again, where I went on this amazing trip with my boyfriend, which was great. We had that time to ourselves. But then when I got back, everything's scheduled, right? And I'm like, I really wish I would have given myself a day. So I'm going to just take the advice that I should be giving to myself right now. But I think I think it's really important to be able to always come back to yourself when you're doing something big, and just giving yourself the day to be able to recover and acknowledging yourself that it is okay, it happens, and it's fine to just like ease up. But what really gets me to get kind of re-energized and back to myself is I just like to go hiking or a bike ride or something. And then I typically can reset pretty good after that.
Yeah. So it's really good to set those into your day, to the longer things like you're saying, hiking or cycling, but even just getting little snippets to actively recover all the way through your day is really
Hmm.
key as well, because it keeps you energized all the way through your day. Right. So
Totally.
fantastic. Okay, so I know that you've got something coming up very soon. So it's another challenge, I do believe. So do you want to share about what that is? If people are interested, then they can connect with you, Stacey.
Yeah, thanks so much. So the one common thing that sort of came out from all the challenges I ran 8 different challenges where I embedded the formula. And the thing that really sort of screamed out, yeah, screamed out as the commonality is really being able to find your voice first. Because when I started Do the Thing, originally it was about doing the thing, get the thing done. But what I realized 10 episodes in is that it was so much more than that. It wasn't just doing the thing because other people wanted you to, or you thought that was expected of you, or you thought it'd be cool to do. It's doing the thing that lights you up from the inside. That's the thing that you were meant to do. And so Find Your Voice is a challenge. It's 17 days, and it's literally been our most transformational challenge because people who do it, they're anyone from someone who wants to get to know themselves again, because we change, right? Every year we're evolving, and it's really important to re-check in with yourself and what your dreams are, what your goals are, what you're wanting from your life. And so it's for that person, but it's also for the person that's the entrepreneur, the coach, the speaker, the author, or the person that wants to be any of those things and that's been wanting to put themselves out in a bigger way, being able to show up. I've learned through kind of getting myself out of hiding that there's so many other people that are hiding. And it's like Find Your Voice is the way to really get out of hiding and be able to really tap in to be able to help the people that you want to help, because it gets you to show up in this really small group. So it's intimate and you're walking, or you're, I don't know, anything. You're sitting in your car, not driving, but you're sitting still and you're just recording something on a video about your self. It's a self-reflective dare is what I
Right.
give them. And that challenge is starting February 18th. And yeah, it's open right now. We just opened the doors for it a few days ago, and it's 17 days, and it's going to be a great way for you to get to know yourselves better, or also to show up for yourself out in the world. You do it in a really intimate small group, which is what helps you then be able to expand out into other places.
Fantastic. Okay, if you're interested in that, I'm going to put the link in the description box below. So do take a look in there and click through and find out a little bit more and connect with Stacey. And I guess my last question is, Stacey, what would your 3 top tips be if somebody wants to become more productive in a way that serves them really well?
So the first tip is to get it all out of your head. And whether that's writing it down or it's recording it on a voice note, that's step one, is clear out your head and ask yourself as you're clearing it out, is there anything else? I always to do it when I'm the most excited, because that's when the most ideas tend to come out. So then if you go through an exhausted stage, then you're just looking through that list that you've already created. You're not
Mm.
burning energy on thinking of what. And so then the second step from there is looking at that list and maybe even not looking at it. It's just even asking yourself, okay, out of all of that, what's the most important thing to me? And that would be the second thing. And then the third thing is, how do I start? What's the first step that I could do to actually get started on it? And whether it's reaching out to someone and asking to be on their show, or researching something, don't get stuck in research. That's creative procrastination. But researching something and taking action on the thing you research, I guess I'll add that. But just doing the smallest step that you can just to even get it started.
Yeah, excellent. Excellent. And that very, very wise words from Stacey. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely wonderful having you here and speaking with you. It's just magic, isn't it? That you're all the way over there and I'm all the way over here in the UK, and it's your morning, my evening. That's okay. And
It's so
yeah,
cool. Yeah,
it's
it's amazing.
fantastic. So good luck with your challenge. I'm sure it's going to be amazing because I was on your last challenge and I'm still tapping into that. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to our audience for listening in. There will be another video coming up on screen. So do tap into that if you want to be more productive, like Stacey is, plus get active recovery in your day. Then do connect with that and find out some top tips around that. So once again, thank you so much, Stacey, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.